Hey there, comic book friends. I'm Travis.
And I'm Ethan.
And this is
Monster Comic Reviews.
That's right, second half of our ever so exciting first week of August. First book we're excited to talk about.
Okay, The Legends of the Dark Knight, issue 11.
And I didn't like this book.
Yeah. Well,
Calendar Man in it. And it gave us like, what, 3 sides to the story. And it just, the characterization, nobody felt right.
yeah. Mhm.
Nobody felt right at all.
Yeah. Okay, well, first of all, so, especially Alfred. I'm not sure what was up with that. I mean, it felt like some sort of, bad Disney cartoon, the way it ends. I mean, well, sir, I think that's the matter of perspective, right?
Chip, chip, cheerio!
Yeah, right, and then you have the lights dim, and it zooms out as the audience laughs, and then you announce your producers. I mean, it was just like, right? Okay, they had no fun with this story. I mean, okay, it would be awesome to do this kind of story, I think, where you have, the multiple, perspectives from people, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because then you could just make Batman so out there. I mean, you could have Batman riding on a cloud of bats and then use his eye beams to take out Calendar Man. And then, you could have Batman who was like way super tall with like freaking super long ears, who fought with a broadsword. I mean, you could just do so many different things. I mean, except for the one that's obviously from Batman's point of view because he's Batman. So you have to draw the real Batman like Batman.
Right.
But the eyewitness reports, and they kind of did that with Calendar Man's. Where they made, where
he's all
tried to
innocent.
depict Batman out as the villain, but no, otherwise, I mean, okay, so they had no fun. The characterizations were donk. I have so much problem with Batman this week. Batman, not your week. Not your week at all.
No. Well, the problem is with this is we've gotten used to Legends of the Dark Knight being kind of an out of continuity, sky's the limit kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And this was, I'm getting tired of using the word, I'm about to find a new word. It was very pedestrian. It was just, oh God.
Exactly, right?
I'm like going, when's this
period.
going to be over kind of a thing. Yeah. Nope.
Oh no, the next comic was
Nope.
it's going to be over.
So yeah, what will we rate that book? 2.
Yeah.
It was it was just drab.
Okay.
Hey, next we're going to talk about one of Ethan's favorite books. Our Dowdy, great legend, be listening. This is the review that you always look forward to, and the rest of you Phantom Stranger fans. Here we are, Phantom Stranger number 11, or as it's called now, Trinity of Sin, Phantom Stranger. Part of the Trinity War tie-in, which does tie in. It does tie in, right?
Yes.
Okay, go for it, Ethan.
Okay, so, well, there's one really good thing about this book.
I heard Ethan's review of this from upstairs. I was downstairs and I heard it while he was upstairs. Just review.
Really, really good thing about this book. At the end, they wipe Phantom Stranger off the face of the planet.
Out of existence. He doesn't exist anymore.
I mean, period.
Which is really interesting because I just ordered the next book. So
damn it. I was really excited there. Never mind, this book sucks all around. There's nothing good about this book. Period, right? And Batman sucks. So bad! So bad! The dialogue is terrible. Okay, first of all, it's super nasty, right? It's just
is
really
the dialogue bad, or
then,
does the dialogue just not match the characters that are there?
Both.
Okay.
It's nasty. Batman, okay, I don't even remember what, freaking Phantom Stranger was talking about. Something dumb, I know. It was just stupid, no matter what. And Batman's like, that's insane. I like it. I'm like, since when? I mean, you have a backup plan for everything. You don't like insane things. I mean, really now.
Yeah.
Really, it was just...
That was one of the things that thought was like, it's like, what the hell?
I mean, even with this book, if I saw it, being defaced by some 3-year-old, I wouldn't go, I'd be like, hey, stop that, that's not cool. I mean, it's not the best book there ever was, but you know what, if somebody was like, scribbling on it, I'd join them.
You mean Phantom Stranger?
Yeah, I'd join them, I'd be like, good job. Obviously DC needs like some serious quality control out there. I mean, wow.
It was consistent. This book was consistent all the way through.
Yeah, it was consistent.
Consistently stinky, but...
Exactly.
Yeah. No, okay, here's my big fear. is okay. So there's what? There's one.
I'll write more than one book at a time.
Is there just Dan's not on this book?
Really?
He's been gone.
That's even more depressing.
He's been gone for a while now.
That's
This is
really
all.
depressing.
This is all Demantes. Okay, you got Dead Man in it. And he's part of Justice League Dark, right? Is he the only one of this Justice League Dark was here? Yes.
Yep.
Demantes is going to be writing Justice League Dark. I don't know if he's a permanent or he's just writing an issue or two. Yeah. And so I'm a bit concerned because you're right, that was the biggest problem here. The characterization of literally every single person in this was wrong. It didn't feel right. Maybe the Waynes, Bruce's Heaven, because all they were doing was reading from Ebenezer Scrooge.
Exactly.
They were reading for the Christmas Carol.
It's just way standard too.
That worked out okay.
Like whenever Bruce has a fantasy, it's always
no.
Yeah.
Well, he always has his parents in it. You're right.
Exactly.
But this was different. This was Christmas at least, and not saving them in the alley or something like that.
Yeah. The only good writing of this book wasn't even his. Oh snap.
But
Zing.
But yeah, it
I gave
the characterizations of everybody in the book, you're right, was completely off. Katana didn't feel right. Of course, I don't feel like Katana's been consistent since she left Birds of Prey.
So, what do you give it?
I give it a 1.
I give it a 0.
Okay, there we go.
I think it would be a challenge to find a book that was worse than that.
Oh, I know I've got some books in my boxes that are worse than this, but only because the art was worse.
Yeah.
Hey, what are we talking about next?
Next up we have Sidekick. I'm dropping it. Sidekick, issue 1.
Stop. Please, thank you. Sidekick. Was excited to get this book, excited to read it because they're going to explore the whole Sidekick thing and him spiraling out of whatever because, his hero was shot and whatnot. And I guess they're doing that, but I don't care.
Nope, neither do I.
I don't care. It didn't capture me like I thought it was going to. Yeah, the guy gets his head shot. Ooh, looks like Kennedy, whatever. Yep. I mean, I talked with some of the guys a little bit about this last Friday, but no, I got one more issue coming. I didn't order it.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm more invested in the main character of the bounce than I am in this guy. That's saying something.
But yeah, there's really, I mean, I guess it's not exploring it in the way that I thought. I mean, because for me, I thought it was going to be this slow spiral as he struggles to try and get a foothold being a sidekick after losing his hero.
Yeah.
And he's immediately in the gutter.
Yeah. His superhero.
His only moment of the only moment of interest is where he sheds his clothes and he goes, "God, I just have to be clean for a second," and flies off, naked way up into the sky to try and just clear himself of everything, which obviously doesn't work.
Not really, no.
That was the only thing about this book that really had any grippingness to it whatsoever. Otherwise, it's I don't know. It's how debased can we make the dude? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I give it a 2.
I give it a 2 also.
Yep. Okay, next we're going to talk about Suicide Risk, issue 4. What'd you think of this book?
Oh gosh, I love the end of this book. It's just kind of like, oh, dang! What you gonna do about it? Huh? Oh, snap.
Yeah, that's a great review thing. We know what we're talking about.
At the very end, okay, so, Diva, that's how mind-blowing it is. I mean, it's just so,
yeah,
and I can't even form consistent sentences. Right, so who knows what's going on with the main character? What?
Yeah, because he doesn't know.
Exactly. Diva totally gets, that's what we call karma kids.
So basically, Diva snatches...
Diva snatches them up, right? She flies them out to her temple that gives her, her powers, right? And she's walking along and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna take you down, cut, right? And she's like,
can't hurt me.
Really? Right. And so she kind of beats him up a little bit. And they're just consistently going wrong. And she has his father-in-law, right?
Because he has to sacrifice.
Yeah, because he has to sacrifice. Because he has to become the person of destruction when Diva goes back to being a good guy. Because Diva's goddess has 2 faces. And one of them is this smiley,
happy person.
happy one. And the other one is this, And because, she never shows both faces at once, right? Which is why Diva went from being a superhero to being a supervillain. But she spends the entire comic telling him that he can't hurt her because she's built this huge statue for this goddess and asked her to come live in the statue, and so she does, apparently, right? Whatever. And so Diva can't be hurt, period. So, as she's asking him to sacrifice his father-in-law,
so he can become a Requiem.
He's like, wouldn't this be easier if you took somebody who's even closer to me than that, right? Yeah. So she's like, oh, okay, yeah. And if you betray me, I'll kill your wife and children. Right? Because she's superpowered and like he didn't do anything about it. Right, so she flies off, and she comes back, and he's like, sorry, I'm taking you in.
Pulls a gun.
Right? And she's like, really? Really? Right? And then, oh, just kidding. Her statue of power is gone.
Yeah.
Gravity lifted it up into space.
Busted it up, flying up into space. It's actually in orbit somewhere.
That's kind of terrifying, actually. Yeah. But all the same, that sucks. And they Diva's like, I'll take you down. And he's like, blam, 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 right? And suddenly, Diva has a few holes in her.
Yeah.
He's like, sorry, you rushed me, which, yeah, so. Yeah. No, this book, I'm excited to read the next issue.
Well, it's just really bizarre, because it's nowhere what we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Even when we sat at the con and
they
ran
right?
the
And
film
they said
on
it's going to be this, so it's just like...
It's so not that. And of course, the big question is that he doesn't remember being this other person called Requiem.
Who was apparently a horrible person.
Well...
Or at least killed lots of people.
Yeah, if that was what was needed, that's what he did. Obviously, he was uber powerful, he had control over all this stuff.
Yeah, he has a freaking sky castle, obviously.
Yeah, basically he has a big lump of land with a castle on it that he actually uses his powers to float around. He doesn't have this whole recoil thing. Whereas right now, his character, his powers, he basically has control over the primal forces, gravity, light, sound, whatever.
Yeah.
But the problem is when he manipulates it in some way, there's always this recoil. There's an after effect, some sort of an aftershock that is pretty horrific. Well,
yeah.
The effects of launching that statue into orbit pretty much brings a mountain down on him.
Yeah.
Is how it ends. So it'll be interesting. Love the artwork. It's great, solid artwork in it. Yeah, really interesting. Really, I have no idea. I don't know. I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, everybody should rush out and buy this book.
But it is interesting.
But it is really interesting.
I'm not going to say that you should... necessarily pick up this book if you're not already picking it up.
Right.
But I feel like it definitely has the potential to become the kind of book that you should rush out and
There's
pick up.
lots of cool characters and ideas in the book.
I like that our character is a thinker. I do.
Yeah, Mike Carey writes all kinds of stuff that's kind of he writes, I think, kind of a long story. So all this stuff will have a payoff somewhere.
Yeah.
From my understanding, from everything else the guy has written.
And by the looks of what they're setting up, when that payoff happens, it'll be big.
Should be big and crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would we rate this book?
I think I'd give it a strong 3, maybe even a weak 4.
Yeah, it's kind of around 3.5. Yep. What are we talking about next?
Next up we have The Superior Foes of Spider-Man, issue number 2.
Went out and picked up these books on recommendation from Dr. Monkeybot, Scott Grady, and damn, I can't remember the other person. Sorry, that sucks. I looked at my Twitter and I immediately know who it was. They were talking about it, and I thought, well, I'll go pick it up. It sounds like it might be kind of fun. Because I was told it's kind of an out of continuity, not out of continuity, but it's not so tied into the Marvel universe that it's linchpinned to everything else, and it feels like it can't breathe. More along the lines of the Hawkeye, the Young Avengers, FF, that sort of thing. Where all those Marvel books, to me, feel like they aren't so pinned to the Marvel universe that they don't have the ability to tell their own story in their own way. So I went out and got issue 1 and issue 2. We'll talk about issue 2. The book's hilarious. It's fun. It's just a good laugh. It's just a really good laugh.
Yeah. I didn't realize the Chameleon was Russian. Okay. First of all.
Yeah.
Which means I will never be able to take him seriously again. Because every time he talks, he'll just, in my head, he'll just have some
Russian
really
accent?
goofy accent. I'm just like, so every time he's talking about how he's totally going to mess up Captain Boomerang, if he doesn't pay his dues, right? And I'm just kind of like...
Yeah.
But, seriously. It's going to be... On the other hand, Chameleon should be pushed off a cliff because he doesn't seem like a very nice guy.
Oh no, he's definitely a dirtbag.
And
these other guys are
it's gonna be
idiots.
really annoying if he just continues to show up as different personas besides Chameleon. I mean, I understand that that's how he's
That's how it operates.
yeah.
It's just great. I mean,
Yeah.
it's obviously this guy. It's Cab Boomerang. What the hell's his name? Boomerang. Boomerang. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Really? That's how it.
Yeah.
That's
So
depressing. No wonder he's gonna
it's
be
told
this
through his eyes, him trying to get the gang back there. He's wheeling and dealing. He's working really hard to have a plan and to be successful. And at the end of this thing, he's gonna be a loser. When it's all said and done. You know he's not gonna make it through.
Yep.
But it's really enjoyable to watch the struggle and the process. And he's working with people who are even bigger losers than he is.
Yeah.
In all reality.
Just when you think it wasn't possible.
I mean, the beginning of this thing is hilarious. You have the Punisher stepping out, and he's basically, his inner dialogue talking about the fact, it's a bad day when you get jumped by a bunch of superheroes and they beat you up, and you wake up in the county pokey, and you have to get out of jail at some point. It's even a worse day when the Punisher shows up because you don't get that opportunity to wake up. You just end up dead.
Yeah.
So, and then of course the Punisher actually shows up. Of course, it's not really the Punisher; it's the Chameleon, like you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just it's another $2.99. Another $2.99 Marvel book. It's not their typical $4 book, and just a lot of fun.
And it's not double shipping or crossing over.
Because it's just funny. It's kind of funny. You can laugh through it. I mean, they steal a dog.
Yeah.
I mean,
ooh,
because the dog was getting named Mr. Snickers or Mr. Snoop or whatever it was.
Wasn't it like detective or something?
Yeah. So they steal the
It
dog.
was Inspector.
They steal the dog because doesn't like the name
Scooter.
of it.
Yeah. So. You should name your dog Scooter. No, it's Inspector. Well,
and there's just lots of funny things. I mean, the Shocker's a complete coward in this. He hangs out with Speed Demon all the time. And when bad stuff starts to happen...
Speed Demon is so annoying.
And when bad stuff starts to happen, Speed Demon zips away and leaves Shocker there to get his ass beat. So no wonder Shocker has got a complex. It's just funny.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean...
I thought Shocker used to actually be kind of a threatening villain.
They all actually have been at one point or another, but... and the getaway driver, as soon as he's Punisher, he takes off. He's supposed to be the guy that's supposed to be watching the door. The lookout. He's gone.
Like, oh hell no! Boom! He's like,
pretty funny stuff.
Yeah.
What do you rate this book?
I give it a 4.
Yep, I got a 4 too. It's just a lot of fun. It was a good laugh and refreshing that way. And finally, for this week, we are going to talk about Swamp Thing issue 23 with Constantine bathing in poppies.
Yeah. That was awesome. This really feels this. At least this issue really kind of felt like a Vertigo book. I think personally, I felt like it could have easily been torn from the pages of Hellblazer. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. I haven't read as much of the series as you have, but just because it's dark and what happens. I mean. I don't know if that makes sense. I mean, just, a frickin' whiskey tree that makes people go crazy.
That's awesome.
That's just so out there. It's just really cool. It's that kind of unique but dark kind of idea that you'd never really have in a real superhero kind of book.
Right.
That's some nasty magic apparently that Constantine has. If it's powerful enough that he can rip away.
Yeah, separate Swamp Thing from the green.
From the green. That's pretty serious stuff.
Yeah.
It's intense, because there's all these people that are running and trying to avoid getting
drunk.
whiskyified. Yeah. And then they're gonna ship it out. That's even worse.
Right. Collect the seeds because I can take the seeds to the next town and then the next town and then the next town.
I love how Constantine, right? He has those broken rum bottle
or crown.
And I love the fact that as it goes on, he's just slowly bleeding more and more and more.
Yeah.
As it just further, because he gets crazier and crazier and crazier, right? So that was cool. The fact that Swamp Thing uses poppies to gas everybody out of their drunken stupor.
To seriously dope them up, yeah.
That's cool. That's cool too.
Yeah. Some people question whether or not that. At some point Constantine should have been able to figure out how to get himself out of it because he's Constantine after all. Mm-hmm. And whatever, it's Swamp Thing's book, not Constantine's book.
Yeah.
I really like the fact that Swamp Thing contemplates basically turning them all into the earth and making them all fertilizer because that's what they deserve.
Yeah.
And then of course the Alec
like,
part of
wait a
him
minute.
goes, yeah, no, and he really wants to put the screws to Constantine. But they've got history.
Necessarily, but yeah.
But they have history.
Exactly.
And
Constantine didn't necessarily do anything
and
wrong. I mean,
well, yeah, he's a
but
he's a dangerous guy.
But
though.
not. Yeah, exactly. He is a dangerous guy.
And turning him into fertilizer might not have been a bad thing. Might have saved everybody.
Maybe. I guess, but you know.
But it was a good story. I'm really enjoying Charles Soule. Great writer on this book.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a as I always describe it, this big umbrella of a storyline that's encompassing this whole thing with the cedar part of it. But there's these littler stories that fill in those parts. To me, I enjoy that storytelling a lot. It works two ways. Those of us who are reading it in singles, get quick enough stories that finish and we can feel satisfied without having to go 6 months before we get that satisfaction. And if you're reading it as a trade or you're reading it in a whole bunch of issues together, you get this big 6 issues or so of, a bit of it. And
it's a win-win situation.
And it's been working very, very well. Artists in it, Rock, Kano is an awesome writer. I'm not sure how much of it that David Lamp from filled in on this. I know that he did some of the stuff in there. It doesn't really matter. It all worked out, I thought, and in the grand scheme of things.
So what did Cedar say at the end? I don't know. I could not read that tree.
Well, the tree thing, I couldn't either. I really struggled with that. I mean, and now I'm thinking about it again. I don't remember what I finally took a guess. I'm going to look at it here. Because at the very end, Cedar shows up where Swamp Thing's home base is, basically.
Right. And it looks like it's
beats the crap out of this kind of fairy woman that was looking for sanctuary.
Until she dies.
Right. And he leaves me on this thing, and it's like, it's time to...
Oh, you got 2 out of that? Cool.
It's time. It's time.
Yeah, like Sir, I think, or Suck. Can't tell.
So yeah, see, it's written in trees right there. If you can see what it actually says, let us know if you know, because
no idea.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. It's time.
Maybe.
What? This is It's Time. That looks like It's Time to me. But what's below it?
Is it like a P and then an O? I mean, it's like what?
Professor.
Oh, it's time, Professor. Okay, that makes sense. Got it.
That's what it is.
Ha!
It's Professor, because Alec was a professor. So I don't know if that implies that he was a student.
I don't know.
If Cedar was a student or whatever.
Or a colleague or what.
So we'll find out in 2 months.
Yeah.
Because next month, I'm not getting any DC books.
Yep.
So, yeah. What did we rate this one?
I think I'd give it a 4.
I gave it a 4 also. It was good. It was jello. Amongst a rough week of superhero books.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's it. We'll talk to you next week. Bye.